All right, well, hello, Bob.
Good morning, John.
Yes, here we are. We're doing an Odd Days podcast from up on the mountain. Tell us where we are today.
Yeah, we're at the top of a mountain where I and my wife Carolyn live in Healdsburg, which is in Sonoma County, and it's got a magnificent view that nourishes us every day just to get up and look out and see the sweep of the trees and vineyards and Mount St. Helena in the background. And it's very uplifting way to start a day and spend a day.
And a magnificent light, as we can see here, the light coming in.
Right.
Right? You can see the light coming in right now.
Yeah.
And some incredible sunsets and sunrises just every day. It's a nature show.
That have inspired Carolyn, who's an artist, to create these.
Your beloved
sunsets.
wife, Carolyn, yes.
Right.
Well, here we are. I came up to celebrate your 98th birthday and last night. Wonderful dinner downtown with some other friends. And, of course, we're reflecting on this as the beginning of your 99th year on the planet. And so inquiring minds want to know if others want to follow in your healthy footsteps at going into the 99th year. What are some secrets that you want to share of longevity?
Yes. About 2 years ago, I was thinking, when people ask me, what is your secret of living a fairly long life? It was in my 97th year. And so I said, well, I think what I'll do is I'll make up a list that I can share with people, either physically or verbally. So, yeah, some of the things that were on that list were, whenever you walk, you ought to walk briskly.
Brisk walks.
Brisk walks.
Number one.
2, eat healthy, eat much less salt.
Less salt.
Much less meat, red meat.
Less meat. Walk briskly, less salt, less meat.
And
I know there's more.
More recently, I've added eat less chicken.
Oh, less chicken. Okay.
And third was a hike. At 80, begin to hike long distances if you're able to.
Because
that's critical.
You were in a hiking group up until a couple years ago, and into your 90s, you would routinely walk, 5, 6, 7 miles?
8 miles, right.
At a time.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
With a group of people, many of whom I still keep in touch with, and some of whom were with us last night.
Right.
It was dinner downtown in Healdsburg, yeah. Another thing was memorize some of your favorite poems so that you can share them with your friends.
As you did last night, and I want to request an encore of those poems if I could put you on the spot.
Well, yes.
And then
do
remind me
that right now or not?
Well, let's do that after we finish the list.
Okay, sure.
So we'll come back to that. Memorize poems. And I know you have a couple that are from maybe 80 years ago in high school, right?
Right.
With a certain from a certain teacher you may have had a certain fondness for.
A crush on. Alice Graham Tart.
Nothing like a good crush.
Right. Another one of the key things was to have a number of good intimate relationships all along the way.
I think you've had some.
Right. I've had some and appreciate those in my memory bank. And I guess another one was when you have an opportunity to walk on stairs, to take an elevator, but you have an opportunity to walk upstairs.
Take the stairs.
Take the stairs slowly, but that's a good conditioning piece, to keep in mind. Like when I was working in Washington and going into the Senate and House office buildings, instead of taking the elevator, I'd walk up a few flights on the stairs.
Yep.
So I get some exercise.
Right.
Not every day, but
Heart smart lobbying.
Right, heart
Right.
smart. Exactly. So those were some of the things that I would put out to people who wanted to know about some
What about-
longer life.
What about oat groats?
Oh yes, right. I began about maybe it could be 18 years ago or so. A Native American person who Carolyn and I knew. Once I was talking to him on the telephone. He was down south in California, and he got to say, he said, "I've got an idea for you. There's a really good, healthy breakfast that you might like." And he said, it's this. You get organic oat groats, which are like look like rice pellet, like rice, but they're oat.
Right.
And you grind those up in a coffee grinder. Add some fresh fruit like blueberries or raspberries.
Okay.
And milk. No sweeteners. And you eat those every day. And that will be a very healthy start of the day routine.
System cleanse.
Cleanse and nourishment.
Right. Yes.
And so that's what I did. And within the last 2 years, I began to eat more oatmeal and with occasional oat groats.
Which we had this morning.
Right, yeah.
All right. Well, with no further ado, I think we should get on to your teacher crush inspired poems.
Oh, okay. Yes, this teacher was an English teacher
You remember her
George
name?
Washington High School in uptown Manhattan, and her name was Alice Graham Thorpe. And she was an attractive, kind of an athletic-looking woman who led us in English. And one of the things we were doing was studying the romantic poets, people like Wordsworth, Shelley, Keats, and to some degree, some Shakespeare thrown in, Coleridge. And as a part of it, she was asking us to read poems. And so I began, instead of just reading them, of trying to memorize them. And I memorized a number, which have become my kind of life sustainers, and which I share with friends like John and others over the years, and with my hiking group. And so I don't know if John wanted me to share any of them with you today.
Yeah, the two you shared last night at dinner.
Okay, all right.
Let's go over those.
The first one is by William Wordsworth. And it is not only my favorite, but it is kind of a guide, a life guide. And it goes this way. The world is too much with us. Laden soon, laden soon, okay. The world is too much with us, laden soon. We give away our powers. But I think I'll try the other one first. The other one is by Keats, and it is, "Much have I traveled in the realms of gold, and many goodly states and kingdoms seen. Many western islands have I been, which bards in barge in polity share. Yet never did I breathe its pure serene, till I heard Chapman speak out loud and bold, like a watcher of the stars when a new planet swims into his ken, or like stout Cortez gazing at the Pacific with all of his men, stood in silent, solemn gaze. Now, the other one that I began and goofed on.
And I recall this one as about giving away your powers to money and
Right, and material.
material.
things,
So that's
and
the
this-
core idea as opposed to something more
Yes.
lasting. So let's go read you on that. Take two.
Take two and,
Right.
and get the old mind going. The world is too much with us late and soon. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. The winds which shall be blowing at all hours, the clouds uplifted like sleeping flowers. For this we are out of tune. Great God, I'd rather be a pagan suckled in a creed outworn, so I might have glimpses that would make me less forlorn. See old Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn.
Bravo, you did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Wow, that's what's it makes me. I know that next time we get together, you're gonna challenge me to recite one. So I'm gonna have
Yes.
to
Yes. You're gonna have
get
to
home
get
and
your
work on
memory
something. I'm gonna have to work on one or two.
Yeah,
or three.
I find it. I used to do that in the hiking group. When we have lunch, we'd be sitting on the ground eating. One person would blow bubbles, another person would pass out little squares of chocolate, and I would share a poem with the groups seated at lunch.
Was Wordsworth your favorite?
Yes.
It was my
Wordsworth.
grandma's favorite also. So,
Really? Yes, he was an amazing.
what about Wordsworth? What makes him your favorite?
I mean, the poem that I did, says, kind of puts you on alert to be aware of what's happening in nature, what's happening out in the world, and not just be preoccupied with getting,
Spending,
and
material world.
material things.
Kind of more of the world of spirit and nature and
Yes.
the present moment.
And to be aware of so much that's out there, instead of being trapped in getting and spending and not digging in to the vast treasures that exist beyond your inner activities. You're being alert, aware of what's outside, and appreciating it and caring for it, and being deeply aware that there is so much more to life than getting and spending. I guess the
Yes.
getting and spending and lay waste our powers is the key to Wordsworth. And then all of his poems have these interesting combinations that address nature and its wonder. And so I like him a lot.
Well, that inspires me to go read more Wordsworth, both for you and my grandmother's recommendation.
Right, and I'll
And-
challenge you
Yes.
soon again.
Not today, but next time.
No, I'll give it, because it
Right.
takes time.
It does
I
take
don't
time.
know whether today, at my age, I could memorize a poem. I'm not sure.
But
I might
it's
be
just embedded in there
these
from 80 years of practice.
80 years ago. 80 years with
Inspired by your
Mrs.
crush.
Thorpe.
Mrs. Torp. Oh, Mrs. Torp.
Alice,
Well, yeah.
Alice Gorham Thorpe.
If
What-
she only
what-
knew.
Right.
her legacy.
Right. I'm trying to think how I may have communicated it more specifically in the class other than reciting a poem or
Right.
two.
You showed your appreciation from
Maybe
your
just by looking at her.
right.
She was a wonder for a young guy, 18
Yeah.
years old.
Well, crushes are real things.
Right.
Well, I want to, in addition to seeing beyond getting and what was the other one?
Spending
and getting, and the things that have a deeper resonance. You're also highly still engaged in what's happening in this crazy world we're living in, right?
Oh yeah.
So
I try to be.
So like what news do you follow now, and why are you still so tuned into it, and what do you think is happening now? Why is it important for people to be engaged as you are? So like, where do you get your information? And how are you still participating? I do see your ballot is over here for the California primary.
Right. I filled it out yesterday.
Yes.
And got some feedback from you.
Yes, I'm for Steyer. You don't have to disclose who you're for, but anyway, but talk about why are you still? I mean, you've been political for what 70 some years,
right? For many years, I worked in the nation's capital as a Washington office head and a lobbyist on public policy issues, women's issues, gun control, military spending, normalization of relations between Israel and Palestine. And then I retired back in 1997 and left Washington and moved to California, where politics is pretty much up front in the government activity and in public activity. People are much more engaged in California than I felt they were back east. And so I read the New York Times, the Washington Post, I read a few news magazines, I listened to Edward R. Murrow and other radio broadcasters. And out here I decided to continue my work, especially on trying to work for nuclear disarmament. So I joined the Peace and Justice Center task force, and we worked to keep pressure on our legislators on disarmament, getting rid of these nuclear weapons of mass destruction, which can kill millions of humans and destroy so much of our world, and on other issues. And I continued to contact my members of Congress, 2 senators and rep, and began to lead groups to lobby directly, eye to eye, with their members of Congress, speak truth to power, and not let members get off the hook since members of Congress and we ourselves are not mind readers, we've got to bring our views on public policy, on the environment, on war and peace, to our members of Congress so that they know where their constituents stand. They can't know that by breathing the air. We've got to carry it to them firsthand.
Indeed, and you're still doing that, right? I mean, you're taking in news every day. I know you watch Democracy Now. You have other sources every day, right?
Right.
I mean, you're not just, for example, going and playing bingo or you haven't been a golfer, right? You're still very much engaged in the world,
right? In interest in what is happening to our world, to our country, and the critical situation our democracy faces at this time. We're really being challenged, as I believe we never have been before perhaps the Civil War might be another instance, but this, to me, from my knowledge, seems to be the worst of times that we as citizens, people concerned about preserving democracy, about ending racial discrimination, about caring for our environment and caring for those who are in need, who are living in poverty. This time is a time of great challenge, and we must be on our toes, making noise and doing what Congressman John Lewis said, doing good trouble, standing in the way, I guess was another thing
Right.
that he said that isn't often quoted, but standing in the way.
And I
is
believe you
something
look at that as a motto.
That's a model, and which I followed before knowing about John Lewis, about being a civil disobedient, about
You were charged with that once.
I was charged with failure to quit,
Failure to quit.
right? And so that was a charge in Washington when I was sitting inside the Capitol and inside the White House. The police came in and said, if you don't move within 3 minutes, you will be charged with failure to quit. And I believe that's a good charge that all of us should be able to stand. Failure to quit doing the right thing, to standing for democracy, to standing for peace, to standing for ending nuclear madness. And that's what we should be all about. And we can do that from early in life to late in life.
To well into your 99th year and beyond.
Right.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to end, Bob. And as always, grateful for these conversations and to be in your presence, and looking forward to more conversations and adventures ahead. I know we have some road trips in mind from
Yes.
Los Angeles to Utah, so we'll see what this year brings. And I look
Right.
forward to maybe another interview on your 99th birthday as you begin your 100th year. And, you're certainly an example of a failure to quit. And we now know that the foundation of how others can get here, and those things you mentioned, including poems inspired by crushes or whatever inspires.
Right, whatever
Inspires
inspires. It doesn't have to be a crush.
Right, but in your
That
case it was.
critical for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bob, enjoy the day.
Yes, and
Carpe
you too.
diem. Yes. Thanks, Bob.
Good.
All right, we did it.